One of the things I've been thinking about today, look at those leaves. One of the things I've been thinking about today, and this is way outside of my knowledge base and my comfort zone, I have to say, is cosmology. I say it's outside my comfort zone. My first degree was in theatre, so it's unlikely I would know anything at all about cosmology, and I don't. But just in terms of thinking about it, the little bit I do know about it, or the little bit I've read about it, particularly in relation to origins, the origins of the universe, in the Big Bang and the singularity and that kind of language. My understanding of that is that at some point in the remote past, so many billion years ago, the universe was a highly compressed point. And that's not a point in space, space was compressed to a point, or didn't exist other than as a point. And that was a singularity, and then something happened, who knows what, to cause that to inflate at a hell of a rate of knots. And that expansion continues now in this expanding universe that we're in. And that expansion creates space as it expands. And the usual analogy that I've come across is the surface of a balloon, which is a kind of two-dimensional analogy of a three-dimensional, at least three-dimensional experience, at least. So as you blow up a balloon, the surface of the balloon increases in area, and all the points on that surface move apart from one another simultaneously. So it's not like the expansion or the explosion of a bomb or something like that. It's expansion which is simultaneous in all directions. Which I kind of get. I mean, to the extent you can get those things at all, I kind of see the image. But okay, so the universe is getting bigger, or space is getting more expansive. Fine. Combine that with this other thing I was reading about the other day, actually, which is to do with this new galaxy that's been discovered, which is the most remote object so far identified, and I can't remember how many billions of light years it is away, but it's a hell of a stretch. And what it reminded of in this article was that when you're looking at distant artifacts in the sky, you're effectively looking back in time, because the speed of light is constrained to whatever it is, 186,000 miles a second. So you're looking back in time when you look at distant objects in space. So when you look at the sun, you're seeing what the sun was like 9 minutes ago. When you look at the nearest star, you're looking back several years. And when you're looking at this distant galaxy, you're looking at several billion years. And I suppose by implication, if you were kind of looking out infinitely, just the idea of looking out infinitely, you're ultimately looking back to the beginning of time. If that makes any sense at all. So to look out is to look back in time. Okay, I kind of get that. The bit where I can't join the dots up is to do with the fact that if you're looking back in time, then you're looking back to the singularity, you're looking back to the origins of the universe in the Big Bang event. The Big Bang event, the singularity, is infinitely small. So while I look up into the sky, whilst I'm looking out at what appears to be, I feel like I'm in the middle of a huge ball looking out towards the perimeter, but it would probably be more accurate to say that I'm actually on the periphery of the expanding universe, looking in towards the centre. I mean, I'm not looking in towards the centre, other than the idea that comes from Pascal, that the universe is a sphere, the centre of which is everywhere and the periphery is nowhere. To everywhere I look in the sky, unless my looking terminates in a specific object, I'm looking out towards the singularity, which is, in whichever direction I face, simultaneously the centre of the universe. I don't think that makes any sense at all, actually. I think it's just a huge gap in my understanding. Maybe it's a necessary gap in the understanding of universes caused by our three-dimensional consciousness, which doesn't really understand time. Maybe it's something to do with that. Anyhow, I think this video is probably too windy to use, so it's just for personal use, I suspect.